Buyers, this is a great opportunity for you this time. This is a real buy zone. There were 8 contracts in the luxury market that were signed last week. Fall market is a short one, not like the spring market. Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market, where I take a look at the luxury market, the Manhattan market, and the Brooklyn market. I do it because I want you to be informed. It never hurts when you're a consumer to be informed. Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market. This is for the week of September 18th through the 24th. Happy fall. We're going to get started, as we always do, with the luxury market. Then we're going to move to the Manhattan market and then the Brooklyn market. Then I'm going to wrap it up, give you my thoughts and my recommendations for buyers and sellers, so that if you're an active buyer and seller in this market, you can be making great decisions. So here's what happened last week in the luxury market. There were only 8 contracts signed. This is for properties that are priced at $4 million and above. Of that, none of these were for the trophy property category, meaning there were no properties priced at $10 million and above that were signed for last week. So only 8 contracts signed last week in the luxury market. 6 of those were condos, 1 was a co-op, and 1 was a condo. No townhouses. 5 of those were downtown and only 3 were uptown. So now we're going to take a look at the number 1 contract that was signed for last week in the luxury market. That was the penthouse at 44 Lispenart Street. It was asking $7.5 million. It was reduced from $7.95 million when it was listed back in October of 2022. The condo is a triplex. It is a penthouse, as I said. It has almost 3,200 square feet. It includes 3 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms. There are 3 terraces. They total 1,200 square feet. The top floor of this triplex has a kind of an office or a den with a fireplace that opens onto a terrace with an outdoor kitchen. Lovely. There are no amenities in this building. The seller paid a little over $7 million back in June of 2018. The number 2 contract was apartment 14AB at 21 East 90th Street. It was asking almost $6.2 million. It sold immediately. And when I say immediately, it went into contract within 4 days of being on the market. This is a 9-room co-op. It has 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, plus 3 fireplaces, a 32-foot living room, and a 24-foot great room face Central Park and the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. Wow, lovely. The master and the 2nd bedroom open onto a strip terrace, only 4 feet deep, but it is 42 feet long. The monthly maintenance is almost $11,000 a month. The amenities include doormen and bike storage. We're going to move over to the stats now for the luxury market. The total weekly asking price sales volume, $45,414,999. Average asking price, $5,676,875. Median asking price, $5,982,500. Average discount from original ask to last asking price, 12%. Average days on market, 544. Okay, that is it for last week's look at the luxury market. We're going to move over now, take a look at what is happening in Manhattan. If you have any questions at all, please post those below. As always, you can reach out to me at Sotheby's. I am happy to answer any questions that you have about what's going on in the market, either for what happened last week or just in general. September is historically kind of a quiet month for us. It's a time when buyers are re-entering or entering the market, just starting to make inquiries, just starting to go to open houses before they begin to make decisions and make offers and go into contract in October. We're going to start with this 1-week look at the market. The supply, 438 for the week, down almost 13%. Contracts signed, 126, also light, down 17, little over 17%. Off-market properties rose a little bit, 209, up almost 16%. If we take a look at the 1 month, we see the supply is up almost 92%, 1,728. We do need supply. We are seeing that coming in. It is still light comparatively, historically speaking, but we are seeing more inventory, which is great. We need it. Contract signed, 583, down a bit, 33% and change. Off market, 771, that is up almost 31%. Now we take a look at this market pulse chart. We're back in neutral territory. Why? Because the market's kind of balanced out again in terms of supply and demand. If we look at the liquidity pace chart, this 30-day moving window of contract activity, we see the latest reading is 583 contracts signed. We see this is falling. This is not unusual for this time of year. Again, because this is a 30-day moving window, the more that we're moving into September, the more that we are seeing a real read of what goes on in September, which is, this is a quieter month for us in real estate. So we see this decline in the contract activity. The supply did increase a bit in Manhattan as we entered the fall, but it remains light, as I said, compared to previous years. If we look at this 30-day liquidity for demand, we see that it's kind of similar to 2019. And if we look at the new listings, the volume of new listings, as I mentioned before, is light comparatively, nearly 15% lower than at this point, let's say, compared to 2021. Contract signed, it's seasonal low. We're going to have to see where this goes. We've been watching the data very closely. As you know, our data is very delayed here. We are going to have to see what the impact has been on prices and also on demand. If we take a look at the deal volume, our September weekly deal volume is coming in light, historically speaking, about 12% below average. Again, we're going to have to see, does this portend anything for our fall market? We really won't know until we get a little further into it, but we're going to keep an eye on it. Let me know if you have any questions, post them below, or reach out to me directly. We're going to move now into our look at the Brooklyn market. Then I'm going to wrap it all up and give you my thoughts. Brooklyn, not so dissimilar to Manhattan. We see kind of weak weekly supply, 201 down, a little over 5%. Contracts signed in Brooklyn, also down almost 16%, 99 contracts signed. And the off-market properties down a little over 13%, 73. If we take a look at the monthly supply for Brooklyn, that's up a little bit, almost 16%, 794. The contract activity, however, did decline. 434 contracts signed, that is down almost 30%. And the off-market properties rose a little over 20%, 302. If we take a look at this market pulse for Brooklyn, we see that we're still somewhat in a seller's market in terms of the balance between supply and demand, but we can see that the decline in contract activity is a real thing. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We take a look at this 30-day window of contract activity, 434. If you look at that, it looks like it's leveling out, but it definitely has fallen off. The Brooklyn supply did tick up again, but it remains lower than the last couple of years. And if we switch to this 30-day liquidity as the measure of demand, it's clear that the Brooklyn market, while still ahead of the pre-pandemic years, is resettling to a new normal. And if we look at the supply, even though we're seeing an increase in the listing activity, overall, our 2023 total remains over 20% below 2022's. So if we look at the signed contracts in Brooklyn, we're not really seeing that fall bounce as we move towards the end of September. If we're looking at listing success in Brooklyn, we're starting to see from the recent data that it's looking like there are more challenges in the Brooklyn market than we have seen historically. Could be some challenges for Brooklyn sellers creeping into this market. And if we look at the liquidity pace, it's definitely down towards its lows. It's kind of typical of this quiet period for late summer. We've yet to see kind of the fall market really kick in. Okay, that's it for the Brooklyn market. Any questions, please post those below. I'm going to move over now, give you my thoughts, my takeaways, my suggestions for buyers and sellers. There were 8 contracts in the luxury market that were signed last week. That's 2 fewer than the previous week. There were no contracts for the trophy property category. That means nothing was signed at 10 million and above. Definitely down. That's pretty lackluster for the luxury market. We're going to have to see what happens next week. 6 of those were condos. 1 was a co-op, 1 was a condop, no townhouses. We're going to have to wait and see. Majority of those were downtown, few were uptown. If we're looking at supply and demand for Brooklyn and Manhattan, we're definitely seeing both are a bit light, and that is to be expected for September. Let's move now. Let's talk to sellers about the fall market. While you are preparing for the fall market to really fully engage, while let's say you're getting your property ready to come on the market, keep in mind, fall market is a short one, not like the spring market. So you don't have as long a runway. Make sure that you're really positioning yourself to be best in class. That means you want to be the best looking property in your category. You want to be sure that your asking price is truly a compelling one. And do remember that the asking price is not the selling price. So make sure you're positioning yourself well. And if you find that you are on the market for a few weeks, you're really not getting the traction that you want, you're not getting showings, you're not getting offers, don't be afraid to make that adjustment if you're a serious seller in this market, because you don't want to miss this market. Most contracts get signed in October, a little bit into November. You don't want to miss out on that. Buyers, this is a great opportunity for you this time. This is a real buy zone, maximum leverage time for you. So take advantage of it. Be sure you're going and looking at properties that interest you and you're making those offers and taking advantage of things while they're still fairly quiet and perhaps you don't have quite as much competition. As I've said, if you see things that have been on the market for a while, that's likely where you're going to have the most leverage in terms of negotiability. That's it. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, I want to thank Urban Digs and the Olshan Luxury Report. The work they do helps me to help you to make great decisions. I'll be back next week with the very latest news about what's happening in the New York City real estate market. In the meantime, take care.